How's it going? Welcome to Justin in the Minifans. We are recapping. It is December 12th, 2020, and we are coming off the first week of Steve being back in studio. I am joined by Fez, and I am also joined by someone who was ridiculed on the main show this week and wanted a chance to redeem himself. So I figured, you know what? I'm a man of redemption myself. Let's give him one more shot, and I am joined by Jay's Mayhem at All the Mayhem. Baby Yoda, he has his thing up. So,
what's up, Justin? How we doing, Fez?
What's up, Jay?
I'm doing great.
Here for
so let's get right into it. I'm not entirely sure what the future of Justin and the Minifans is now that I'm doing a daily wrap-up show. I like the idea of a weekly wrap-up show. I think in a perfect scenario, when Mike comes back in January, he would retake the throne on Mike and the Minifans, and he would be doing the weekly wrap-up show. But I'm not entirely sure. That's still thrown up in the air. Obviously, I'll be doing it until then, but I just wanted to get it out there that I'm not entirely sure if me hosting a daily wrap-up show and then a weekly wrap-up show.
Justin, do you know that he's planning on doing like Patreon and stuff?
I do know he's planning on doing Patreon. I don't know. What'd you say?
I feel like he's gonna be busy. Like these shows take a lot of time to get together, and I'll keep my lip shut for now.
I guess, but I don't know. I think. This is just me pulling it out of my ass. But I think it would be a good idea for Mike to stay in the world and be able to still do Mike and the Minifans because he's more of one of the guys now or whatever. So let's get right into it. So we had Monday's show was a special show. It was hosted by obviously Kirk and Justin Durand. How'd you guys like the dynamic between a Minifan, like a Minifan and Kirk?
Fez, any thoughts?
Oh, you're muted. You're muted, my guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Justin and Jay, for that. I thought it was okay. I mean, I think Justin had the good presence just to kind of sit back and relax and enjoy the show. I think that the more you go in there and you try to be funny, is when you'll get killed. So I thought it was just kind of a normal show.
Yeah, that's what bugged me is that he didn't even get ripped. Like not much at all. Like there weren't any shots shown at Justin's way at all. Like it was kind of boring.
Yeah, well, I think like Fez said, he kind of just came in there and he kind of used it as kind of like a front row seat experience, not a co-host experience. He got to see Kirk up close doing his thing. He really, he had a couple chirps here and there, but he really didn't go in there trying to think it was, his big shining moment. I kind of like the dynamic of throw a random Minifan in there once in a while. I mean, we're going to see, I'm not entirely sure when, but Sheldon in North Dakota will be coming down and he will be co-hosting a show with Kirk. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe everyone will be singing a different tune after Sheldon gets in there. Let's see if he actually, quits smoking so he won't smell like cigs in front of Kirk and all that fun stuff. But no, I thought it was decent. It was also the return of Steve Robinson, which was interesting. It feels like it's been a month without Steve. They had the Thanksgiving shortened week. Steve wasn't there, and the week after that, Steve was quarantining because of COVID. So Steve got back in the fold. It was nice to have Steve back there. I know some people, especially Madawaska Rob, took a lot of issue with Steve this week. Not me. I think Steve did a great job this week. With all he's doing with the secret project and shit like that too, you just really got to give it to him. But another thing I wanted to bring up is that this was actually the last week in a long time that will be in studio and will also be 5 days a week. Next week, they're going to be in South Carolina for the entirety of the week. I'm not sure if they're driving or flying or whatever. But then the week after that is Christmas week. So I'm not sure if they're going to end on the 23rd or the 24th, but Christmas is on a Friday, so I doubt that will be an entire week. So,
are you with Barstool and Play at all?
Yes, I.
And you don't know when the date is that they stop. Like, all right,
I'm not entirely sure that if they
didn't give you like a pamphlet or anything like that when you got your papers. Like,
I'm sure it's somewhere. It's in the holiday, but I don't know if Kirk plans on putting out something on Christmas Eve or not. So, I mean, it's all up to him.
Justin, what do you feel like do you think it's 50-50 with the Carano and Steve liking? So do you think like
do I think Carano puts in as much work into the show as Steve does?
No, do you think it's more or less like half the people like? Do you think more people like Steve or more people like Carano?
I think there's a portion of, I'm going to say 30% of the population of the Minifans are Carano guys. 30%, I'd say 40% are Steve guys. 20% don't care either way. And then 10% hate them both.
Yeah.
Did you write that down, Jay?
Yeah, 62.3%. Dustin's a fuckhead. Yeah, got it.
So I'll be honest, having Carano around that time made me like Steve a little more. And I know Red's not going to like to hear that, but that's just something that that's the truth. Because I feel like Carano is just in for himself, and that's it. Nothing else. He just wants to be a part of the show. He doesn't care who he steps over. And I think even though Steve is kind of a condescending prick, and all he cares about is money, it's still, I can still appreciate that over Carano just wanting to be a part of something to kind of be, he got picked on in high school. He was sent to one of those schools that try to turn you the right way. Most of the time it's a church.
Really?
Oh, I don't think any of this is true. I don't think he got kicked out of high school.
Yeah, he did.
Dustin, were you there?
Yeah.
Carano got kicked out of high school for what?
I'm sure Fez has receipts.
Yeah, I got receipts to try to get him to like a certain sex. That's what he got kicked out. He went to one of those churches.
Okay.
So,
yeah, missionaries popular nowadays.
What I'm saying is, I think that Steve puts in 100% more effort than Carano does, and Steve does it for the right cause, not for what Carano just wants to be a part of something.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you just kind of contradicted yourself there when you said Steve's in it for the money, but he's doing it for the right cause. I don't want to turn this into a Carano bashing fest. I mean, Carano really had nothing to do with this week. I mean, Steve came back. We got to see we can compare and contrast Carano and Steve, but I feel like it's not the right time to just suddenly just go on a Carano.
I feel like Carano's nothing more than an echo of Steve. I mean, that's all.
I mean, he's the interim producer. I mean, that's his job. He's silly to
off those walls just like you and Will, man. Nothing more. Steve's the guy. That's all. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm in, Jay. I'm in.
I don't think Carano's in a position to be taking Steve's job anytime soon. But I don't see.
Yeah, there's only one guy that can do that, and that's Dave Conley.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. So, anyway, so it's the last week with 5 shows a week. You guys are gonna miss it? You guys gonna miss the 5 shows a week? And when they go to 3?
Still getting all the Kirk, right? Like, he's still gonna be on. He's still gonna give us content. We're getting more. I feel like. I mean,
joined by Inspector J. Inspector J, how's it going?
What? Is this a surprise? Is this for me? Jay.
Oh,
really?
We'll come back.
So I think the 3 days a week is good. If it's an hour long, I can do it. I think sometimes it just it's on the show and it's just kind of an hour and a half of just talking over and over again, and then 40 minutes of calls. We all know that the telethon is a big hotspot. So I think 3 days a week is something that'll actually benefit.
Are we donating money to Colin?
Well, I know, Fez.
The way you get on.
Fez, I know you're not a fan of the phone calls, but these past couple of weeks have been very lacking in the phone call department. I believe it.
That's why. Yeah, I think it's great. I like it like that. I think this whole week was good. Even with any
Carano have to do with that, he didn't even know how to fucking do his job.
No, I think they've taken phone calls with Carano before. I think more had to do with the fact that they had guests in this week. I mean,
your boss said it multiple times the last couple episodes. He noticed that Steve was getting a ton more calls than Matthew Carano's ever even. Like, his total amount of calls was like equal to one episode. There we go.
Yeah, but Matt's been able to take calls before. I mean, when he replaced Steve, when Steve went on vacation.
You know what I'm saying? He's probably taking 20 total fucking calls. Steve takes 20 an episode, dude. Stop spending the fucking whatever.
This week had nothing to do with Carano. I don't want to sit here and just bash Carano for absolutely no reason.
You ruined the show last week because the calls would have made it so much better. That's what we're trying to say. I think that's. Do you think calls would have helped in the Carano? I think if Guy Mike Sneakers called once and ripped Carano finally, we'd have some content phone wise. But he's a pussy. So,
well, sure. I mean, we'll go with that. I don't see how phone calls have anything to do with this week, especially with Carano. I think when you look at this past week, I mean, the reason why they weren't taking phone calls was there was no need to. I mean, the only show that they didn't take, or no, they did take phone calls, I believe, was the show where they announced the secret project, where they were only taking phone calls about the secret project, which is something that, you know, people have questions on. So I think when you have Whitney in, when you had that Justin guy in, when you had Mike in, it's like there was no need to try to find and reach out for that extra content with the phone calls. So they did so in studio.
And that's why I think 3 days will be better. I think it gives you more content that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever the 3 days they do, and you're not going to have to take phone calls to block that time off.
I agree. I think there's going to be some benefits to going to 3 days a week, that where you're going to have more to talk about in less time or in less days. So, I mean, obviously, if something happens on Tuesday, instead of talking about it on Tuesday, or something happens Wednesday night, instead of talking about it on Thursday, we're talking about
it. Yeah, Justin.
What?
No, you lost me a while ago.
Oh, okay. How's it going, Jay? You there?
It is. Inspector Jay, the floor is yours, sir. Good to see you.
No, he's still frozen, so we'll go back. Justin in the Minifans is always a shit show.
Justin, how many people do you think are bound and tied up if Inspector Jay turned that light on behind him? He looks like he's in a dungeon.
Bound and tied up, or just like hanging from the wall?
Hanging from the walls.
Have you finished that yet?
But yeah, no, he looks like fucking Jesus Christ, like Saw down there. But the movie, you know,
like the bathroom one.
I haven't seen any of the Saw movies. You guys, how'd you?
What did the bathroom smell like, Justin?
Oh, the bathroom smelled like shit. It was disgusting. It was fucking
like real shit. So you know what Steve's poop smells like?
Well, I know what Steve's shit smells like after it sits there for, you know, a year.
What did he have for dinner?
I'm not entirely sure, but it's but no, that bathroom is spotless now. If you take a picture of it, you'd say, "Wow, that guy's gonna be calm." I did not take a picture of it.
You should have took some selfies. It was a good job, I heard.
Yeah, it was a very good job, man. The interesting part about that whole debacle and that whole nonsense going on was that most of the Star Wars shit was not even recorded. I didn't even realize that it was off, and so I did most of that.
So we missed your good stuff
for myself. Oh yeah, dude, I had some good shit going on. I was
R2 unit.
Yeah, the R2 unit stuff. You guys got most of that, but then I was on the Death Star 2, and there was the battle going on outside. There was a bunch.
What do you use to clean an R2 unit? What kind of fluid?
I think it's Comet.
No, that's stupid.
That I use. I don't know.
That's right.
But it's speaking of the bathroom, I believe the first person to use the bathroom after I cleaned it might have been Ryan Whitney. He left and he said, "Where's the bathroom?" What do you guys? How'd you guys like Whitney as a guest? Would you like him? I've seen nothing but positive.
Best show of 2020.
You think so?
Yeah, top 3 anyway. I was interested. I listened again. I'm on my 3rd listen.
Fez, how about you?
Fizz, is there something on your lip, or is that my screen?
Maybe some on my lip.
Okay. Some markings before the show.
Thanks for the beauty tips, Jay. I liked it. To be honest with you, Justin, I wasn't big into Barstool until Kirk went there.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Portnoy, like I'm a little bit older than you guys, so Dave Portnoy was kind of like that weird drunk uncle, Drunkle Dave, that showed up to like your barbecues. So I didn't follow Barstool a lot, but so the first time I heard Whitney was with Kirk, kind of going back and forth. So I thought it was really good. I like to have him come on more. And he just doesn't talk about hockey on the show, so it's kind of nice.
Oh, they barely touched on hockey. I mean, they kind of touched on about how like Kirk used to write the back of hockey cards and shit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, huh?
But I really don't think they touched much on, you know, like
third line. When he wanted to ask him LA stories, I thought he had a good LA question, and he copped out with something stupid.
Who, Kirk did or Whitney did?
No, Whitney. He's like, I got a question about LA right in the beginning, and it wasn't like anything exciting. It was just.
I thought it was interesting when Whitney goes, when Kirk goes, oh, you're a big Trump supporter, right? And he goes, nope. And then they start getting into like who they voted for and COVID vaccines and shit like that, and shit that they really wouldn't have talked about.
Right into the web.
What is Pink Whitney, Justin? Have you ever had it? I've never had it.
I have. It's just tastes like lemonade vodka, pink lemonade vodka. That's all it is. It's you mix pink lemonade with vodka and they sell it.
I heard your teeth, Fez. Don't. If you got cavities, problem.
How's it going, Inspector J? We can. How's everything?
Thank you.
Going with you?
Sorry for the delay and the technical difficulties.
It's okay. I know exactly what that's like. My computer's been fucking.
I like the Whitney episode. I like the Whitney episode because we didn't hear a lot, and that's a knock on Steve. I just thought it was a different dynamic, and Steve really didn't have to contribute much.
Yeah, I think well, that was the original point of the show, was Steve wouldn't have as much of a talking role as he does now. I mean, you look at it, what it's grown into. Steve's kind of developed his own character. He's more than just a producer. I know Kirk makes everyone into a character in the world.
Is Steve like your favorite person in the whole world?
Is Steve my favorite person, like in the universe?
Yeah. Do you think about him before you go to bed every night? Like,
no, Kirk's my favorite person in the whole world.
All right, I'm just checking.
I'm a big Steve guy. I mean, I'll fight for Steve when he's not, divorced.
Would you fight Carano over Steve? I mean,
would I take Carano? No, I'd take Steve over Carano.
Would you fight Carano?
Would I fight Carano? I don't like to fight. I mean, I'm not fighting anyone. And it'd be stupid. You'd be like unless it's like a real fight, like you really hate someone, then it's.
Were you gonna fight Led Zeppelin guy at Mike and the Minifans that Friday night?
No, no. I don't like to fight. I mean,
that kid
bullshit. Best Buy.
I was protecting. I was not fighting. I was not.
Nope. Okay, we'll move on. Best Buy. Don't, Justin. I know you got it in you.
Yeah, that was different. That was different.
I'm sure.
But so the True Crime Secret Project was officially announced this week. We're not entirely sure what it is. It's bringing the boys down to South Carolina next week for research, for stuff going into that. I'm excited for it. I know I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard some people say True Crime is really not for me. Some other people are saying True Crime is the greatest thing ever. Kirk's going to do such an incredible job. But I think everyone's going to give it a shot just because Kirk's at the helm of it and just everything he touches turns to gold. So if he wanted to do a True Crime podcast, it's going to be good. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's half-assing it. It sounds like he's going too deep, if that's a thing, in which he needs to, blow off some steam from the Kirk Minahan show. Yeah. But I feel like he could do a Bachelor recap podcast and it would end up being entertaining. I'm a Kirk suck pump. So are you guys interested in the True Crime aspect? Inspector J, we'll start with you.
I am. Yeah, thanks. I am, because I do listen to a lot of true crime. Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yep, okay. We can hear you.
No, I turned onto the Cold podcast by Kirk, and that's one of the best I've heard. If you guys haven't listened to it, you should.
I love Cold.
I listened to a bunch of them. And I think there's so much speculation about what it's about. I think that's a good thing. People, I think, are interested in it. The South Carolina aspect, the Brockton aspect, the Fall River aspect. People have put out some pretty good clues. I don't think anybody other than the DM to Steve actually knows about. But I am definitely very interested in this new project.
What is that noise going on in the background?
Sorry.
But Jay, you interested in the True Crime?
Of course. Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, he's been mentioning the Cold podcast the whole time he's been doing the Kirk Minahan show, and I've probably listened to that 3 times full. Got really into it. Josh Powell's and his dad was even crazier. I can only imagine how deep he's gonna go with. I'm reading Axe Murderer. We'll see, but I haven't really been able to Google much. So the last I saw, it was an axe murderer story.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't want to make any speculations. I legitimately have no idea.
You read the Quantum Leap Chris last week. You learned us this week. You know what it's about.
I know nothing.
You went to the basement, Justin. What was in the basement?
He said he wanted to lock me in a basement.
Yeah, you go like searching for something? You did some research or something?
No, they called me and I said I was cleaning my basement. I don't think Kirk Minahan is doing a podcast on me cleaning my basement. But Fez, you excited for it?
I am excited. I do want to get to my podcast that I'm doing. Mine is why you only have 5 following people on Twitter. That is crime. That is a true crime. So
I'm only following 5 people.
Yeah.
Last Monday when I got
5 people, and you said last week you're going to go on a following spree. So I'm waiting for the following spree.
So I'm going to wait until January 1st when Kirk decides if I keep my job or not.
What if we all die?
But I mean, I guess what if we all die and then we all
only wish.
But
I thought you were deciding
by the Kirk Minahan show.
I thought you were deciding if you were going to stick around.
You thought I was deciding? No, I said if I didn't change Kirk's mind about me, then I would be leaving. So it's up to Kirk.
Is more than a Discord mod, bro.
What'd you say?
I don't think I can say that. I might get banned again.
Okay. Well,
so Justin, but in all honesty, I think it's good. I like the true crime. There is some speculation on Twitter. I saw something about a Vanessa Faye that it could be it.
I have no idea, but I don't want to say any names on here.
Okay. So, I know Red. People have been throwing things around. So
so
the Reddit guy.
I have no idea. Let's hope.
Who's the Red? Who's Red? Does he know things?
Oh my god.
Jay,
I want to know more about this podcast, Justin. I'm sorry that you want to lie to us, but I
don't know anything about this podcast. I legitimately know nothing, but I'm excited for it. Sounds like it's coming, in April. So
April. I thought it was the end of January.
I thought he said Q2 2021.
No, I thought he said it was going to be the end of January, beginning of February. He said next
one we're going. No, dude,
I didn't catch that either.
I just get all twisted, Justin.
Jay, are you coherent right now? What? Hello?
Ever? Fez, what kind of question is that?
I don't know. Justin and the Minifans always seems to be a shit show.
What else we got?
The wrap up's going really great. Justin and the Minifans for some reason is playing.
Don't lump me in with that. Fucking
Jesus Christ. But
Inspector Jay, don't make me throw a warning at you, and you'll get a 3rd-day ban on Twitter.
No problem.
Anything else you guys want to bring up from this week before we
there's a funeral this weekend. Patrick from the Discord sponsoring it. The Discord died again.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Okay. Anything else?
Justin, how do you feel that you've been doing the last couple? I in all honesty, I think you're doing a pretty good job. You seem to get a lot more confidence lately. Have you had you said you had a conversation with Steve? Does that help? Have you talked to Kirk?
Jay, I can't. What'd you say?
Lately, you've been. It seems like you have a lot of confidence lately. So I don't know if you had a conversation with Steve or Kirk. You seem kind of you're more open. You don't care what people think too much anymore. Have you? You're a little bit more confident.
It's just I just stopped. Not that I stopped caring. It's more that I just stopped worrying about what people were tweeting about on Twitter. I'm not trying to make friends. I'm trying to do my job. So I think that's the way to go. And I think the wrap-up show is going great. I think something needs to happen with Justin and the Minifans. I think this
I think the wrap-up show shits on the John from Super Scranton short, whatever he's trying to do, that guy.
I have no idea what he's trying to do. I don't try to shit on anyone.
I feel like it goes Kirk Minahan show, Justin, and anything he does, then Cullinane, because he's trying hard, but he only has 14 people watching him every day, so it's you feel bad for him. But he's a good guy. And then I don't know, man. I don't know, Justin. You got a long way to go, buddy, and this podcast is gonna take you places. The true crime one, maybe.
Well, I know I'm working on a wrap up series for 2020 where it's going to be, hopefully it's going to drop on the wrap up and on the YouTube podcast.
Are you gonna get a Patreon?
Nope. On every single day, there's going to be like with the first day or the 23rd, it's going to be January, then February, all the way up into December. So it's going to be like 1 to 2 hour recap podcast of every month. So that's what I'm working on now. It's taking up a lot of time just cutting up shit, but it's but yeah. So the last thing I wanted to mention was if you guys haven't checked out Blind Prison Mike's GoFundMe, he's going through some shit right now. It's in the description below. I heard last I checked, it's up to like $7,000. So that's incredible. Everything helps. He's such a great guy, and I love to see. Love it when the Miniverse comes together to support one of our own. So it's in the description here. You can find it all over Twitter. Anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up?
You got any ad reads?
Nope.
No, nothing going on tonight.
Nope.
I just wanted to mention Answer the Internet is on tonight. So
that's right. Yeah, the
KMS Brews guys will be on. And probably some surprise guests. So tune into that if you'd like. And Justin, did you fix that Excel spreadsheet with your hours? I haven't been able to sleep about that. So did you get that fixed?
I got a question. Real quick.
Yeah, my Excel spreadsheet.
Would Blind Mike make more money with an OnlyFans?
I think OnlyFans and Patreon is the exact same thing.
I really think he'd make way more money.
Fucking pants off? Jesus Christ.
So, okay,
what the fuck are you eating over there?
Okay, well, thank you guys.
I'll be fucking eating and talking.
I will talk to you guys on Monday for the wrap-up show. I'll see you.